3 months ago, we received our first casting announcement for Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action series. It was then that we learned who would play the titular Avatar, his companions Kitara and Sokka, and the main antagonist, Prince Zuko. The casting across the board was well received and showed that this new adaptation of the animated series would at least surpass the previous film in that aspect. Along with the cast, it was revealed that producer Dae Kim would take over showrunner duties from the previous creatives, who departed the project over creative differences with the studio. Now the biggest news since then is the casting of the actual villain who will face off against Aang in the near future. Daniel Dae Kim will be playing Fire Lord Ozai, the leader of the Fire Nation, who has been ruthlessly conquering regions/kingdoms across the world to add to their powerful empire. Okay, this is just perfect casting, and the first recognizable actor we've had on this project, since they've started to announce the cast. Kim is someone who viewers will know by name or have seen in something else prior to this project. Not only is he an incredible actor, he's someone who has a distinctive appearance that makes him both affluent and imposing, which is ideal for this role. Kim is a well-known Asian actor who has mostly made a name for himself in television. He's best known for his role as Jin Sun-kwon in the ABC series Lost. There he played one of the lead roles for the entirety of the show's 6-season run. On the show, Kim played an overprotective husband who was reluctant to mix with his fellow survivors. Over time and with shared experiences, he became a mainstay. His deep relationship with his wife's son, played by Eugene Kim, and their shared past before the island made for a compelling storyline. That was my first exposure to Kim as an actor, and what I've always remembered him from, no matter what role he's taken since leaving the show. He also starred in the 2010 remake of Hawaii Five-0, where he played Chin Ho Kelly, until his departure from the show in season 7. There's also that recent Hellboy reboot, but that wasn't his best outing as an actor. They completely squandered the actor on just about everyone in the film. The two aforementioned shows are some of the best work he's done in his career. That and his current stint as a recurring doctor in the NBC series, New Amsterdam. Before his casting announcement was officially made, Kim teased the reveal on social media. The actor posted a picture of himself at a restaurant with two notable people. The first is Ada Lim, the screenwriter who wrote the screenplay for Crazy Rich Asians and Raya the Last Dragon. The second person is none other than Dae Kim, the showrunner for the upcoming Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action series. Right away he knew something was brewing behind the scenes, and Daniel Dae Kim would have some involvement in the Netflix project. Surely enough, news broke a few days later, and here we are. Now this is the most surprising casting on the show so far, because it means that Fire Lord Ozai will have a bigger presence on the show, compared to his role in the animated series. In the Nickelodeon show, he was always a shadowy figure, who spent most of his time in the Fire Nation commanding his forces. That included his children who were tasked with hunting down the Avatar at his request. Ever so often we would get glimpses of him in flashbacks and in present day, but they were limited appearances, at least until the penultimate book in the series. Now for those of you who aren't familiar with the structure of the original show, it was divided into 3 seasons, which were called books. Each of the books represented 3 of the 4 elements that Aang had to master to complete his training as an Avatar. Fire Lord Ozai finally became an active player on the show in Book 3, where he served as the final antagonist to Aang. In the overall narrative of the show ever since the beginning, he was destined to face off against the villain who was the embodiment of evil. With Kim now part of the cast, he is surely to show his face sooner rather than later. There's no way they would cast an actor like him and have him do little to nothing throughout the first season. For the most part, I think this adaptation will follow the same structure as the animated series. So I don't expect Ozai going after Team Avatar himself, or meeting the team face to face. No, he'll just be making more appearances and maybe even getting involved in some of the Fire Nation's conquest himself. While I felt the original show did a good job in how they presented him as a threat, it wasn't nearly enough to make him feel like a compelling character. Instead, he ended up being an average villain, devoid of an interesting personality. He was someone who had a singular purpose and lacked any deeper emotions, making it difficult to sympathize with him on any level. In fact, he was irredeemable. Maybe now they will rework his character and give him something that makes him less of a monster. Whatever direction they go with the character, I can only hope they don't squander the opportunity to do more with Ozai. For me, the most interesting part about the character isn't his hunger for power, but his relationship with his family. Ozai has little to no care for his family, save for his daughter Azula, who was cut from the same cloth as the ruler. Even with the pride he showed for his daughter, she was merely a tool he could use because of a devotion towards her father and his goals. Azula isn't featured much until the end of Book 1, which she makes a cameo, before having a major role throughout Book 2 as the primary antagonist. It's unlikely we'll see in the upcoming season, but considering how they are featuring Ozai much earlier, it's very likely she will make an appearance alongside her father or be name dropped. Next up we have Ursa, his former wife and the mother to his 2 children. Their relationship wasn't one that was based on love, it was only to create a stronger bloodline. Ursa married Ozai at the request of his father Azula, who arranged the marriage based on a prophecy from the Fire Sages. Neither Ursa or Ozai objected to the union, and so the marriage proceeded. This was perhaps the only relationship on the show that we barely had the chance to explore, because the character didn't have a huge presence on the show. She was kept a mystery throughout the series, and only mentioned or featured in flashbacks. Although she agreed to marry Ozai, her heart was with Dae Kim, her true love. Marrying into the royal family meant she had to cut ties with anyone from a previous life, including her parents. Ursa disobeyed Ozai and tried to make contact with her family and her lover Dae Kim by secretly sending them letters. They were discovered, and in one letter, it was revealed that Zuko could possibly be Dae Kim's son as opposed to her husband's. She was an instrumental part in aiding Ozai to take over the throne from the reigning king and his father Azula, because Ozai tried to usurp his older brother Iroh as the next ruler following the death of his son. Their father saw it fit that his son be punished by making him take Zuko's life. Ozai was willing to kill his son without a second thought. To save his life, Ursa struck a deal with her husband, in turn for her help creating an untraceable poison, which was used to murder Azula. Another part of the arrangement was for her to leave the Fire Nation once Ozai had been crowned Fire Lord. He basically forced her to abandon her children, leaving them without a mother and under his care, where he could mold them into anything he desired. Following on from Ursa, we have Iroh, his older brother who willingly gave up his right to the throne to his brother, following the death of his son and then their father. Their relationship is one that has been strained for years, even before the events of the current storyline. It should be interesting seeing who they cast as Iroh to be able to match Daniel Dae Kim's presence as the Fire Lord. Other than his brother, one of the more complicated relationships that Ozai has is with his son Zuko. Ozai was the one responsible for giving Zuko his trademark scar, which was the result of a duel between the two that ended with him being branded as per tradition. It came about due to Zuko speaking out of turn during a meeting. He had objections towards a plan being relayed by one of the generals present at the meeting, because it would involve sacrificing new recruits for a divisionary maneuver. Unbeknownst to the prince, the plan was that of his father's, and by scrutinizing it, he disrespected the Fire Lord in front of his council. To teach his son a lesson, he resorted to the traditional way of settling things. The duel, known as an Agni Kai, was a fight for honor in which 2 opponents faced each other in a one-on-one bout. The winner is declared when one burns the other. Added to his shame, he was banished from the kingdom and sent on a wild goose chase to find the Avatar. Zuko wants nothing more than to earn his father's love, which he had received for a brief moment as a child, until his father grew cold towards him following a conversation with his wife. Ursa wished that his son would have been Dae Kim's child instead of Ozai's, and wanted Zuko to be nothing like his father, who she loathed. From that moment onwards, Ozai treated his son with disdain, which had a huge impact on his son's life for years to come. I can't wait to see Daniel Dae Kim and Dallas Liu in character, just to see how they develop one of the most torturous relationships on the show. Maybe they can show us more of it from Ozai's point of view. It's an important aspect to Zuko's character, and one of the more interesting arcs in the animated series. The interactions they shared throughout the show was always emotional to watch, because you felt for Zuko. He was always trying to meet the expectations of his father, who had closed off his heart from loving anyone. No matter what the prince did, he was never going to earn the love he thought he needed from his father. Seeing them together in live action will hit even harder, because it will feel more real. There's plenty to explore with the character, given the opportunity they have to expand on his history. Also, with Kim taking on the role, it would be a wasted opportunity not to give him the chance to create a more layered villain. It will serve the character a lot better if they humanize him, even just a bit. Kim having his starring role on this show is fitting, since he was a voice actor in the original show and its follow-up sequel. He played General Fang in the original series, and later Hiroshi Sato in The Legend of Korra. So to have him go from voice acting to actually being able to show his face on screen is a great progression for the actor who has roots in this franchise. I feel like people will be able to appreciate Ozai more as a villain, because he'll be played by a generally likable actor. He'll definitely make the role more popular, and instead of outright being against the villain, we'll have more of a love-hate relationship with him. It seems that production on the show is about to commence soon. Kim posted a behind-the-scenes image of himself being fitted for what I'm guessing is a hairpiece. That plastic being applied to his face by a makeup artist is very telling as to how far they are along in production. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already had a costume fitting done, in addition to the wig they are making the actor wear for the show. They are definitely ready to start shooting, so it shouldn't be surprising to hear an announcement from Netflix relatively soon. I'm looking forward to seeing who joins the cast next. Hopefully, and I'm crossing my fingers on this one, it's Uncle Iroh, who I expect to be cast before his brother. All in all, I'm excited to see who they get for the remainder of the cast, because there's still quite a few major and minor roles that have yet to be announced. So stay tuned on the channel because I'll be breaking down each and every one of the actors and their characters who are announced for the show as they are confirmed. So what are your thoughts on Daniel Dae Kim being cast as Fire Lord Ozai? Also, are you looking forward to the show? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways folks, that's all for now. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please feel free to subscribe, like and comment below. And hey, maybe this was in your cup of tea. And that's okay. Just remember to take care and stay safe.